Welcome to the channel. Please subscribe if you like stories about the ancient world. Imagine a table set for a feast that has lasted 7,000 years. The main course? The icy, nutrient-rich waters of the Pacific Ocean. The guests? An entire people who turned the world's driest desert into a land of unparalleled abundance. We've explored the art, the spirituality, and the discoveries of the Chinchorro. But to truly understand them, we must understand what fueled them. What was on their daily menu? How did their diet not just sustain their bodies, but build their civilization and ultimately make possible their incredible cultural achievements? Today we are not just archaeologists, we are paleonutritionists, using cutting-edge science to reconstruct the most ancient food system in human history, and discover that their cuisine was far more diverse and complex than we might have ever imagined. The Chinchorro were, first and foremost, people of the ocean. Their existence was anchored in the colossal productivity of the Humboldt Current. Their diet was that of an apex predator in a marine food web. Shellfish, the bread of the desert. Walking the shoreline today, you can still see their dinner plates, giant mounds of shells known as middens. These mounds, some several meters high, are testaments to centuries of systematic shellfish gathering. They consumed vast quantities of mussels, mytilus, clams, mesodesma, and especially the loco, Concholepis concholepis. These shellfish were their reliable, constant source of protein, a true desert bread that could be gathered with minimal risk. Fish, the protein backbone. While shellfish were the staple, fish were the cornerstone. Analysis of bones from their sites reveals an incredibly diverse catch. Massive schools of anchovies and sardines, likely caught with nets, as well as larger species like corvina and groupers, taken with hooks made of shell and bone. This was high-quality protein and fat, fueling their brains and muscles, giving them the energy for their complex activities. Sea lions, the ultimate trophy hunt. But the true mark of skill and courage was hunting sea lions. Using harpoons with detachable bone points attached to lines, they ventured into the open ocean on their reed boats. Taking down a sea lion was a community-wide event. It provided a colossal amount of meat, blubber, crucial for survival, and, just as importantly, tough hides that were used for clothing, shelter, and, as we know, for wrapping their famous mummies. The sea lion was a gift that sustained both the living and the dead. It is a mistake to think the Chinchorro ignored the land at their backs. They were not mere maritime foragers. They were brilliant survival strategists who expertly exploited every niche of their environment. Coastal hunting and gathering. The rocky outcrops and islands were home to colonies of seabirds. The Chinchorro hunted cormorants and boobies and collected their eggs, a valuable and easily accessible food source. They also caught small lizards and possibly even rodents that lived in the desert's rare oases. The hidden wealth of desert plants. While the evidence is less obvious than the giant shell mounds, there is reason to believe they supplemented their diet with plant matter. In the river valleys, quebradas, where fresh water was found, edible plants, reeds, totora, whose roots and shoots may have been consumed, grew. They undoubtedly used seaweed washed up on the shore. This dietary diversity was their insurance against a bad fishing day. It demonstrates a deep, comprehensive knowledge of their ecosystem that allowed them not just to survive, but to thrive in this seemingly inhospitable place. How can we be so sure about what they ate 7,000 years ago? The answer lies not just in their trash heaps, but within their very bones. Modern science allows us to read their biochemical diaries. Stable isotope analysis. This is our most powerful tool. Scientists analyze the ratios of stable carbon and nitrogen isotopes in the bone collagen and hair of Chinchorro mummies. Different food sources, marine plants, fish, shellfish, marine mammals, have distinct isotopic signatures. The results are unambiguous and staggering. Up to 90% of the Chinchorro diet came from marine resources. Their isotopic profile is almost identical to that of a sea lion, placing them at the very top of the marine food chain. Paleopathology, the story written in bone. Studying their skeletons tells us about the consequences of this diet. They had incredibly robust bones and generally good teeth with few cavities due to low sugar intake. However, their lives were physically demanding. We see arthritis in the spine and joints, likely from constant paddling and arduous work. And also, as we've discussed before, we see the traces of chronic arsenic poisoning from fresh water, a tragic irony of their survival. This stable, protein and fat-rich diet is the fundamental reason for their cultural flourishing. It provided them with a caloric surplus. This surplus meant that not everyone had to be involved in food procurement all the time. They had time to develop complex technologies, to create art, to contemplate the nature of life and death, and to perform the incredibly labor-intensive mummification rituals that immortalized them. So the Chinchorro diet was not merely a matter of taste or necessity. It was the cornerstone of their civilization. From the humble mussel to the mighty sea lion, the ocean provided not just fuel for their bodies, but the energy for their culture. It was a diet that allowed them to look upon the harshest desert on earth and see not starvation, but abundance. Their nutritional story is a lesson in sustainability and profound ecological connection. They lived in perfect balance with their environment, taking much from the ocean, but likely giving it time to regenerate over millennia. The next time you eat seafood, think of the Chinchorro. Think of the first fishermen, the first ocean gourmets, whose menu, carved into bone and shell, continues to tell its story millennia after their feast ended. What aspects of their dietary approach do you think we could learn from today? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into ancient cuisine, please support our channel. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss our next discoveries.